Okay, today is the review for the factoring and solving test. Now, so far, all you see on the board here, number one, is a find the greatest common factor. You don't have to actually put parentheses. You just figure out what is the biggest things that are in common, and you write them down. Like the answer might be 2x. It's not it, but you should figure out what it is. Okay, on number two, you actually factor it. And I think you remember how to always start it. Once you get it started, all you got left is to figure out two numbers that go there and there. And hopefully you remember the little pattern. They're supposed to do something and something. I'm not going to say it. You figure it out. I'm going to pause for a minute while we work on these two. Okay, so I'm going to answer these in a minute, but some people need a little bit more time. So I'm going to move on to the next two questions. Problem 3. This kind is already factored, and it equals 0, and I'm just going to hope that you remember the little process of making those bite-sized equations that you can solve and get the answer. Number 4 is one where there's something you can factor out of everything. Oops, that looks like a 9, doesn't it? I'll change it. There we go. And after you factor something out of everything, your answer will look kind of like this. That's not the right answer, but you'll have something factored out in front, and then you'll have it factored all the way. I'll write these in here. That's the next two. If you haven't already gotten these written down, write them down now. Rapido, por favor. I'm going to pause for a second while you copy those puppies down. Okay, now that hopefully you've got these copied, and I'm going to get one more set of two that would bring us to the end of the type of problems you have to know for the test tomorrow. All right, so here's the last two. Number 5. All right, I can get some more scratch paper for you. Hold on just a second. Okay, so for number 5, this is the kind where you have to factor it and it's set equal to 0. So that means once it's factored and equal to 0, you will get it solved down and you'll have two answers like x equals 2 and x equals -5 or whatever. All right. And then the last kind, number 6. Stop with the noises. Yeah, just stop with the noises. We're going to have one where there's stuff on both sides of the equation. And this is where it's about as difficult as it gets. X squared plus 5x. I'm going to pause for a second while I figure this one. All right, here we go. So number 6 is now written correctly. And I'm going to give a pause again for a minute to try to answer all 6 of these questions. This is like a practice test of the test tomorrow. And if you don't understand stuff, we can help you one-on-one. I can walk up and say, here's how you do this one. But you got to be willing to ask me because I'm not going to psychically know you're having trouble. Okay, get to work on the 6? Yes. Sure. So the nastiest one. All you got to do is get this stuff over here. So you're going to do, why you want to get it equal to 0 is that all of them are equal to 0. See, this one is equal to 0. See what I mean? That's the normal. So we got to get this stuff off of here. So we go minus x and we go plus 4. So if we go minus x here and minus x here, that's our first step. Maybe you should write it in pencil or pen or whatever that is. Minus x on both sides. Minus x. Minus 1x, if you want to say it that way. Okay, good. And then do it to this side too. Minus 1x. Good. Now draw a line across. And then, I'll help you in a second. Those two get put together. Alright, and this is 5 minus 1. 5x minus 1x goes there. Good. And then these two disappeared. Did you copy it wrong? Ooh, it's a minus. You just copied it wrong off the board. So that's a minus 5x. So now -5 and a -1 will make -6. Yes, sir. Well, not the only ones. lots of slurping noises happening in this room that's not coming from over here. Okay. I know you're a little distracted. Get problems 5 and 6 written down. This is the part where you ask a question if you're like, Mr. Server, I'm kind of stuck on number 4. All right. Yes.
Would you put these two together?
Mr. Todd, you're just wasting time now. You got problems on the board you should copy, and I'll move it back for you to 3 and 4.
Would you combine these two and do the problem?
Okay, so you're close. This -5 and this -1 x make a total of -6x, okay? And yes, those get combined together and make a +5. So then write it all as, yeah, it'll be two sets of parentheses, it'll factor, just like all the others.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, do you have a question?
No.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Sweet. How about you? Think you got them? Sweet, I'll use it in my key. No, this is the key as in the answers. Sweet. I didn't even have to use my brain. Ha! Just used your brain. Yes. Yep. There's a 2 in everything. Did you get that out? First get that out and then see what you have left. X squared. So write that over here somewhere. After the 2 comes out, you write the 2, parentheses. There you go. There you go. Yep, keep going. Plus 1 to hold the place. When you took a 2 out of this 2, it's like dividing by 2. So your 2 divided by 2 is 1. Alright, so now this has a 2 in front of it. And now you just make 2 parentheses. And you finish like normal factoring from there. So the only step that's different is you pull the 2 out to the front, and then you factor it like normal. See if you can do it. How can I help you?
You know what? I'm not even going to fake this.
All right, I'm going to write. Good. I agree. Let me look at. Will, Todd, get these copied down quick. I'll be happy to help you. Looks like you got number 3 written down. Yes, and number 4. Let me make sure you copied that right. Number 4 is missing. Here. Here, I'll give you some more scratch paper. Number 4. Write down number 4. Just copy it out there. 2x squared plus. And I'll be back to help you, but I want you to get the problems down first. Will, have you got 3 and 4 written down yet? Excellent. I'm going to move it. Okay, now one more, Samani. Write down number 2. You hadn't got number 2 written down yet. You had the problem spot, but you didn't write the actual numbers. All right, now let me give you a little refresher on how this works. So I think 2. So there's 2 sets of parentheses, like 2 sets like that. There you go, perfect. They always start with x and x, the beginning of them. X and x. And exactly, and the 2 numbers, they have to, listen, they have to multiply to 8 and add to 9. What 2 numbers multiply to 8? There you go. Yep, that's it. Same idea on number 3. I'll move number 3. That just means that you write a little mini equation that equals 0 and a mini equation that equals 0. These little mini equations are what you solve. So, like this. And this. And those are just super simple little equations from there.
Oh, okay. I get that one now.
Okay, now put your phone away and get back to work. All right. I'm going to start the recording again, and we'll see how you did. No, yours is the key. You don't need paper. Fine. All right, here we go. Number 1. What goes into both of them? Well, expanded form would help. Well, wait a minute. Not 6. I should write 3 times 2. Now, you did not have to do that step, but you did have to figure out what went into both of them. You got to stop turning around, otherwise I'll move you. This and this and this, and this, and this, and this. Look at that. There's a 3 and an x and an x. That makes 3x squared. Raise your hand if you had 3x squared for that first one. All right, good. Did you not? 3x squared for number 1. Okay, number 2. What goes here? Always x and x. It's really simple to start these. Then, Mr. CF, what do you think these two are?
8 and 1.
8 and 1, because if I multiply these, they multiply to 8, and if I add these, they add to 9, so it was x plus 8 and x plus 1. Raise your hand if you had that one factored correctly. Good. That's the easy ones. Now let's move to the medium ones. This is the kind where you just have to set the little tiny equations equal to 0. This part equals 0, and that part equals 0. So then I just solve them by going this, x equals negative 7, and this one, x equals 5. So 5 and negative 7 were the two answers for that one. Did anybody have that one right? A lot of people did. Good. Next one. This is the hardest, one of the hardest kinds. Because first you have to take out the 2 out of everything, and then see what you have left. X squared plus 2x plus 1. Now, if you don't have that on your paper, you probably didn't do it right. Final answer, 2 is in front, x and x, plus 1 and plus 1. That is factored all the way.
I got that right. I got that right. So
Now, if you have this wrong, it's probably because you skipped this step. You can't skip that step. You got to take a 2 out of everything first. All right, moving on to which one doesn't make sense to you? This is number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. First, did you know that there's a 2 in each of these? Look at that. Did you see there was a 2 in all 3 of them? Then once you pull that out, most people skip writing this part. Do you have this on your paper or not? Yeah, that's the problem. You got to pull the 2 out of everything and then write down what you have left. Once you take the 2 out of this part, you get this. When you take the 2 out of this part, you get this. When you take the 2 out of that, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that's, a lot of people miss that middle step there. Okay, now on to number 5. Number 5 wasn't super hard. It's just got a couple parts. First you factor it, x and x. And this one I made have a negative in it, because some of you I think can only do with positives. We'll see. Do you get that these two numbers have to multiply to negative 4? That means one of them has to be negative. Negative 1 and positive 4. 1 times 4 makes 4. All right? And then, don't these add up to positive 3? Yeah. All right. So then, is this the final answer? No, that's just the factoring. Now we go x minus 1 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0, add 1, x equals 1, subtract 4, x equals negative 4. 1 and negative 4 are your final answers there. And now number 6, the very last one. Okay, pausing for a second. All right, on to number 6. If I want this to equal 0, I got to get rid of the x and the negative 4. So I subtract an x. And a lot of people like to say that as 1x. I totally understand that, and I like it, so it's okay. Then I'm going to say x squared minus 6x plus 1 equals negative 4. What's got to happen next? Yes, sir. You add 4. Or you subtract the negative 4, which does the same thing as adding 4. Adding 4. Then, why can I tell that I'm ready to factor? Because it equals 0. Then I'm going to put it in 2 sets of parentheses. Okay, you're going to need to step out for a minute. I can't have you keep on talking when I'm teaching. Yes, you.
Thank you, Mr.
All right. X and x. And I'm going to get a 5. How am I going to get a 5? A 1 times a 5 probably. 1 and 5. And then one of them's got to be... Oh, wait a minute. Not one of them has to be negative. They both have to be negative. Negative and negative. You get what just happened there?
Yeah.
Negative 1 times negative 5 makes positive 5. And negative 1 and negative 5 make negative 6. That, I'm not sure a lot of you could have done that on your own, but I know some of you did. Then I had to add 1, x equals 1. Then I have to add 5, x equals 5. Positive 5 and positive 1 are my final two answers there. So that's a good overall review of the stuff you needed to know for today. Now, don't stop. I want to give you, if you didn't get, set it down. If you didn't get the worksheet the other day, which I know some of you are gone for, just wait. I'm going to hand out this worksheet now. And if you had this the other day as you were here, then take out your green worksheet. I'm going to pause for a minute while you do that. So thank you. One of my students reminded me that the worksheet, we had already assigned the odds. So now your homework is to go back and do the evens. So here we go. Looking at number 2. Number 2. It says x squared plus 9x minus 36. Have I got the right problem right for number 2? Nope, that's number 4. Rats. I'm going to go to 4 then. Sorry, guys. Skip to number 4 right now. And I see that this just needs 2 parentheses. And how do I always start, Mr. WR? X and X. And then the two numbers have to multiply to 36 and add to 9. And I'll give you a hint. 6 and 6 don't add up to 9. So it can't be 6 times 6 is 36, even though I know that's one of your favorites. Yes? 3 times something will make 36. 9 times 3 is 27, though, so that doesn't work. 3 times 9 is not it. We already said that's 27. So we're looking for something that makes 36. What times what makes 36?
3 times 9 is not 36.
9 times 3 is 27, not 36. 3 times 9 or 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on that one.
Never mind.
Anyway, I know you're trying to do the finger trick, but you're doing the finger trick wrong. Anyway, 4 times 9. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. 9 times 4 is 36. But 9 and 4 can't add up to a 9. So this is tricky. No, it's not no solution. It could be. I'm not ready to say no solution yet, though. I bet you there's another way to make it 36. 7 times 4 is 28. Strike 1. 6 times 4 is 24. Strike 2. Yes, 6 times 6 makes a 36, but it doesn't make a 9. Ooh, 3 and 12. Dun, dun, dun. 3 and 12. Now, riddle me this. One of them needs to be negative, and if I put it in the wrong spot, I'm wrong. 3 is the negative one, 12 is the positive one, because when I add them, I want positive 9, and if I put it the other way, it wouldn't give me positive 9. So this is the only way that works. So cool, we got it factored. All right, yes, sir.
So on the test, if we put no solution, is that wrong?
It would be wrong because this has had a solution, okay? But I'll show you an example one. This one has no solution. You cannot factor that one, so you can write no solution, or you could write the word prime. I'd accept either answer. So there are some that won't factor it. I should tell you that on the test tomorrow. There's going to be some that can't factor. Don't sit there like forever and go, I can't figure out which one it is. It might not factor. All right. Then let's move on to how does number 10 sound? Let's move into number 10. That one looks like it's got y's in everything. That's a sign if there's something that's in every part that you've got to factor out a GCF. 4y to the 4th, and then last plus 3y to the 3rd. There's y's in everything. What I personally think is the easiest is if you just expand it all the way. And it is not 3y. Look, this is why I like you to expand it all the way. Do you get, there's no 3 in this? Now, if you meant y to the third, that would have been right. Y to the third is the thing that was in common. And now that I take that out, this one's critical. Everybody see if you know what you get when you take out the y to the third. A lot of people got that wrong on the little practice quiz we just did. Try to see what's left. Once you take out a y to the third out of all three of these, what do you have left? I'm going to pause for a minute while you try that. Okay, here we go. One way to think of this is what, I need your eyes up here, unless you're working with Mrs. Nolan in the back. There's a couple people that are not looking up here. Please don't make me say your name. Focus. Okay, look up at the board. Thank you. Need your attention. All right. So once I take this y to the fifth and I take a y to the third out of it, I have to go y to the something left. What do you think it is?
Y to the second.
Yep. Because if I multiply this times this, I get that. All right. Then what do I put here? Once I take this out, it's really easy to see what I have left. It's right there. 4y. And then last, once I take this out, I have really easy to see what I have left. 3. How many of you had that? Y squared plus 4y plus 3. All right. So there's some typical problems from tonight's homework. I want to do one more where you get to actually solve it and make it equal 0. So that would be like number 16. Number 16 is a beast. So I think I should help you with it anyway. It's got something in all the numbers. Who can see what they think is in 4 and in 20 and in 96? 4 is the correct answer. There's a 4 in everything. Now, I know that would be a tough one to like figure out, but just, do you get it's either 2 or it's 4? Those are the only things that it could be. So it is 4. And so what you do with a calculator, because calculators would be allowed, anybody can take the 4 out of 4x squared. That's easy. But how do you take a 4 out of 20x? I can do that in my head. 4 times what makes 20? 5. So that one's not that hard. Minus 5x. But 96 divided by 4? That's a pretty tough one. So I'd be totally okay with you grabbing a calculator. Good, it's 24. All right, if you can factor it the rest of the way, you'll be able to get this one. That's all the help I'm going to give you for right now.